Live muna. Then. Yun. Hello. Mga ka-awesome, mga ka-ABC, welcome back to another episode of Daily R's, the 3 R's we follow. Reading, reflecting, and responding to the Word of God. And this is something we do daily because this is a one way of us eating our spiritual food to keep our spiritual bodies healthy. And currently, we are reading from the book of 1 Kings. Start na tayo sa chapter 8 for tonight. And dito, ang main host natin, ako lang nag-intro. Wow, ang main host natin si Kuya Aki. And yan, dito rin si Ate Kat. So yan, take it away, Kuya Aki.
Alohoy! Awesome evening, everyone. Awesome evening, mga kapatid, mga kaibigan, ladies and gentlemen, and our friends na nakasubaybay every evening, 9 o'clock dito sa ating Daily R's. Ayun, naku! First time yata na ipasa sa akin ng hosting for Daily R's, ha? Medyo kabado ulit. Anyway, bago ang lahat, siguradong marami nang nakaantabay sa atin, O'Neil. And so let's start with looking at sino na ba ang mga nag-comment sa atin. Okay. Andito na si Ashley, of course. Ashley, alam kong birthday din ni Ashley ngayon, if I'm not mistaken, ha? Yesterday or today, parang gano'n eh. Happy birthday, Ashley. Thank you for joining in. Blessed evening, mga kapatid. Sabi niya, ang mami mo, dito na din, si Ate Mayan. Good evening din, Ate Mayan. Good evening. At kapag nakita nyo na naka-online sa notification nyo, please tune in para masimulan na natin ang ating Daily R's for tonight. At usually, paano nga ito? Magre-recap muna tayo ng kahapon. Tama ba?
Yes.
Guide me through lang quickly. Walk me through sa... yesterday, actually, nakapanood ako but bits and pieces lang nung discussion kagabi nila CD and Jasper, if I'm not mistaken. Jasper and... Ano nga ulit yung pangalan ng isa? Justin?
Yes,
yeah,
Justin,
oo. And they were discussing this chapter 7, which is a chapter of when Solomon builds his palace. And when they discuss it, ang aking takeaway doon is really na-amaze ako doon sa details, yung pagkaka-describe noong palace ni Solomon and the materials and the measurement and the furnishings as well. And so, maganda rin yung discussion nila kagabi. And hindi ko kasi nasundan ng buo. Pasok-pasok lang din ako dun sa kapag may time. And by the way, kayo, ano ang key takeaways nyo kagabi dun sa ating episode? Baka we can get some bits and pieces din ng ideas ninyo and we can share with our listeners before I commence sa pagbabasa ulit ng mga comments ng ating mga listeners. O'Neil, how about you?
Sige, Kuya Aki. Actually, kanina, hindi ko rin napanood ng todo-todo kahapon. So, I read it today. Tapos, nakinig na rin ako kanina. Mabilisan din lang eh. Kasi it really focused on them building the temple.
Right.
A lot of details, specifics on how it looks like, materials used. Tapos, tinawag pa ni Solomon yung best Huram, parang gano'n yung pangalan niya.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Huram. So that talagang perfect ang magiging kalabasan or finish ng buong temple and everything in it. Tapos ang pinaka-takeaway nila Justin, nila Jasper last night is parang reflection na to our generation as Christians. Because we don't focus on temples anymore.
Right.
Time nila yun ng Israelite. Mm-hmm. So Solomon, yung intention niya is to really present to the Lord a perfect the parang the best dwelling place for God. He wants to honor Him that way. And for us, in the same way, ang para takeaway ni Jasper tsaka ni Justin is the same attitude, diba? Pero kasi tayo na yun eh. We are the church. So
Exactly.
si Solomon, he worked on the temple full effort. Dapat tayo din on how we take care of ourselves and our congregation, of our brothers and sisters. It's the same way na alagaan natin sila because He dwells among us. The Holy Spirit dwells among us. Jesus is among us. They're very much alive. And how we present ourselves, how we carry ourselves is how parang yun yung pinaka-response natin. Very
Napakagandang
strong.
yung analogy sa analogous comparison ng ginawa mo, O'Neil, with that. Kasi nga, wala naman ng physical temples ngayon, di ba? Hindi naman napagandahan ng chapels or whatsoever. In fact, many of us are worshiping sa mga bahay-bahay. And yeah, you were precisely correct dun sa sinabi mo na we are now the temple and we need to be as yung presentable ng ginawa nito ni Solomon. Ayun, nandito rin si Ate Kat. Pero bago kita tawagin, Ate Kat, at kamustahin, ituloy lang natin yung ating mga comments dito. Ay, happy birthday din daw, Ashley, sabi ni Ate Mayan. May utang ka sa aming burger, ha? si Ate Kat, I think this is Mami ni CD, is that correct? If I'm not mistaken, right. Ayan, opo. Sister, good evening din sa'yo. Thank you for being with us. Of course, si Jessie. Awesome evening, everyone. Awesome evening din, Kuya Jess. Oy, ito nga. So kinonfirm ni Ashley birthday niya nga. Thank you po, Kuya Akin, Sister Mayan. Si Sister Lore naman, good evening din sa iyo, Sister Lore. Dito na din si Daddy mo, si Kuya Kaloy. Happy birthday! In fact, hindi lang si Ashley, no? Birthday din ngayon ni Angela. Kung nakikinig ka man, Angela, happy birthday. At yung milk tea na utang mo sa akin next time pagka nagkita tayo ulit. Good evening din, Shock Maki. Wow. Unique name, ha? Good evening sa iyo. Brother or sister ba ito? Brother siguro, no? Good evening din. Ayun ang ating mga comments currently. At saka, ayun, sabi din ni Ate Mian, happy birthday, Angela. God bless you. Sana na-enjoy mo yung birthday mo today. Kayong dalawa ni Ashley. Alright. Ibalik natin kay Ate Kat. How are you, Ate Kat? Thank you for being with us today. Kamusta naman ang reflection mo kagabi? Nakapanood ka ba?
Nakapanood po ako.
Ayun,
habang
yun.
naghugas ng plato, ganyan.
Yeah.
Pero I agree with the takeaways of just nawala ako.
Kat? Sige,
Okay
tuloy
na?
mo lang. Yung audio, okay na yung audio. Ayan.
Okay na?
Okay na.
Ayun. So yun, medyo, I super agree ako dun sa takeaway kagabi na kasi wala nang temple, no, sa atin, sa panahon natin ngayon. So, the Lord is dwelling sa atin. So, kailangan natin, in line din to sa devotion namin kanina sa church. So, kailangan natin mag-heart check before entering the presence of the Lord.
Ganda nun, ha?
Siyempre, nung sa time nila noon, di ba meron yung parang 3 section dun sa temple. Meron yung Holy of Holies, most holy place, yung ganon. So, before you enter that, you should be clean. Kumbaga.
Exactly.
Ganon.
May mga ceremonial cleansing sila noon.
May cleansing, ganyan. So, yun po yung magandang takeaway din. So, kailangan natin, sa atin naman ngayon, we need heart check, sanctification, and we should be aware kung yung tama na ba yung niladaanan ko, ganon, nasa tamang path ba ako, ganyan. Am I doing the Lord's will in my life? Mga ganong bagay. Yun po, kuya.
Ganda nun, Kat, ha? Naku, buti na nakapanood ka. Kung may quiz ngayon, panalo ka na. Thank you sa recap mo, anak. Madaming mga key takeaways din yesterday and today. It will be another exciting night, an exciting discussion because we will be advancing doon sa chapter 8 na tayo ngayon. And this is yung binalik na yung Ark of the Covenant doon sa temple. And then, paano ba ito ulit? Ikaw na magpe-present ng text, ano?
Yes.
Then maybe you will be doing the reading on our behalf. Hati kayo ni Kat. Maiksi lang naman ito.
Ako
Up to
na.
21. Ikaw na. Tuloy-tuloy mo na. Sige, hatiin muna natin siya ng... Andiyan na ba yung text? Sige, from chapter 8 verse 1 siguro hanggang 10 muna para hati siya.
Sige.
Sige, O'Neil.
Okay.
Take it away. And then, Kat, maybe we'll have your first input dito and then balik kay O'Neil sa akin. Thank you, O'Neil. Take it away.
All right, thank you, Kuya Aki. So, of course, before we read, mga ka-awesome, share, type in awesome para alam namin ready na rin kayo. And also, I encourage you to
oo
read.
Nga pala.
Yeah, no problem, Kuya Aki. Invite din natin sila na have your Bibles with you. Read with us para speak, para awesome talaga. So, here's our reading for tonight. Chapter 8, verse 1 to 10 muna. And verse 1 says, At that time, Solomon assembled the elders of Israel, all the tribal heads and the ancestral leaders of the Israelites before him at Jerusalem in order to bring the ark of the Lord's covenant from the city of David, that is Zion. So all the men of Israel were assembled in the presence of King Solomon in the month of Ethanim, which is the 7th month, at the festival. All the elders of Israel came, and the priests picked up the ark. The priests and the Levites brought the ark of the Lord, the tent of meeting, and the holy utensils that were in the tent. King Solomon and the entire congregation of Israel who had gathered around him and were with him in front of the ark were sacrificing sheep, goats, and cattle that could not be counted or numbered because there were so many. The priests brought the ark of the Lord's covenant to its place into the inner sanctuary of the temple, to the most holy place beneath the wings of the cherubim. For the cherubim were spreading their wings over the place of the ark, so that the cherubim covered the ark and its poles from above. The poles were so long that their ends were seen from the holy place in front of the inner sanctuary, but they were not seen from outside the sanctuary. They are still there today. Verse 9, Nothing was in the ark except the 2 stone tablets that Moses had put there at Horeb, where the Lord made a covenant with the Israelites when they came out of the land of Egypt. Verse 10, when the priests came out, muna kaya.
Sige, ituloy mo na hanggang 11 kaya kasi isang statement ay isang sentence lang pala yun. So doon tayo magtatapos sa 11.
Sige. In verse 10, when the priests came out of the holy place, the cloud filled the Lord's temple, and because of the cloud, the priests were not able to continue ministering, for the glory of the Lord filled the temple.
Thank you so much, O'Neil. Yun, very, very clear from verse 1 to verse 11. And para sa, syempre baka meron tayong mga tagapanood na hindi nakasubaybay nung ating journey from Genesis up to where we are right now at First Kings. Let's have a quick recap. Ano ba tong Ark of the Covenant na ito? Ano ang kanyang importance, significance, at saka ano yung laman niya inside? So, the two of you can help me with this one. Ark of the Covenant, how does it look like? It's a box type, right? Something like a box with rod doon sa kanyang dalawang side. Pole, ang ginamit na word dito is pole ba ang ginamit niya? Yeah, the poles. Meron siyang pole. This is for carrying the ark. At saka ano yung nasa top niya? May dalawang creature na nasa top eh. What do we call them again? We call them the cherubims. Yes, yung 2 angels na naka-cover. So, ang description niya doon sa books before na binasa natin is naka-cover yung cherubim sa kanila. And then, trivia. Ano yung mga things na nasa loob ng Ark of the Covenant? If you can remember. Meron tayong
stone tablets from Moses.
Stone tablets from Moses. All right. So meron ding
yung staff ni Aaron.
Staff ni Moses. Tapos may isa pa. You still remember? Merong samples doon ng mana. Merong mana inside. Yeah, merong mana doon din na nakalagay. And so, yun yung Ark of the Covenant. At saka ito yung dala-dala ng mga Israelites dati whenever wherever and whenever they go for war and for fight, lagi nilang dala ito kasi yun yung parang nagsisignify ng presence ng Diyos. Alright? Okay, so at least para sa mga nakikinig sa atin at nanonood na hindi masyadong na cover yung background ng Ark of the Covenant. Alright. Ate Kat, sige, kunin natin yung iyong first insight doon sa pwede mong i-split if you like, but that would we will be covering first 11 verses for this time around.
Okay. So yung since andun na rin po tayo sa Ark of the Covenant, no? Yung Ark of the Covenant, it represents din, napag-usapan natin sa past readings natin na yun yung presence ni Lord. So, talagang hindi makukompleto yung temple without that. At meron siyang sariling place. Dun sa nabanggit ko kanina. Kasi di ba yung temple, meron siyang, tulungan niya rin pa ako dito, pero ito kasi yung naalala kong tinuro sa akin. Meron siyang parang 3 sections. Yung sa first section niya, dun sa medyo labas is, dun sinasacrifice yung mga animals. Yung animal sacrifices and all. Tapos sa gitna, yung sa gitna na section, di ko maalala. Pero yung
Holy
sa
place,
third na
yeah.
section, yun
Holy
po
of
yung
Holies.
most, Holy of Holies or most holy place. Kung nasaan ang nakakapasok lang is yung mga high priest. Tama po ba
Correct.
ako?
Correct.
Yun. At yung parang may curtain pa ata yun, hindi ko po maalala. Pero dun ang nakapasok lang is yung mga high priest. At dun po linagay yung Ark of the Covenant. So, may sarili siyang place doon and hindi naman siya yung mismong God talaga na win-worship nila, but yun nga sabi ko kanina, yun yung andun yung presence ni Lord sa Ark of the Covenant. So, simula noon pa hanggang ngayon na si Solomon na yung king, andun pa rin yung respect and reverence dun sa Ark of the Covenant. And then, ang ganda lang, dun sa mga naunang verses ng chapter 8, sabi dito, then King Solomon summoned into his presence at Jerusalem the elders of Israel. So, the heads of the tribes, lahat-lahat. Parang ang nai-imagine ko dito, yung parang opening ng isang building ngayon sa atin, di ba? Parang cutting of ribbons pa.
Invited yung mga VIPs, ano?
Tapos meron pa, pag sa atin din ngayon, di ba, meron pa yung dedication, mga ganun.
Right.
Yung mga ganun. So, ganun yung nakikita ko, napipicture ko sa mind ko na ginawa ni King Solomon dun sa opening ng temple. Siyempre, yun nga, nabanggit din kahapon, kailangan din to na from the building hanggang sa pagkatapos ng building hanggang sa opening, introduction ng temple, kailangan yung kumbaga perfect kasi dito magdadwell si Lord. Dito niya inimit yung mga tao, kumbaga. Yun po.
Galing. Ang ganda nung insight ni Kat dun sa I like that idea, yung parang very, very special itong event ng parang opening, parang ganun cutting of ribbon na ang na-imagine ko actually dito, Kat, is Olympics eh. Parang ganun ka grande. Ganun siya, madaming invited na VIPs dito. Thank you, Kat, for that. Any insights from your side, O'Neil? Don't mind us hearing.
Sure, Kuya Aki. Sa akin naman, it's kasi nabasa ko yung buong 8 nang di ko sinasadya. Kasi I was doing the audio Bible thing. Tapos nakikinig lang ako while I was doing other things. And mas may naintindihan ko yung tong first part is parang ito yung main event of the whole thing. For 3 chapters, we've been reading about Solomon fulfilling his father's desire to build a temple.
Right?
Temple for God. Yun yung gustong gawin ni David eh. Pero hindi siya pinayagan ni Lord. Ang sinabi ni Lord, yung anak mo ang gagawa nun. So, ngayon, nabubuo na niya. And ito na yung final, parang key piece of the puzzle eh, which is the ark. Parang God is finally coming home. Parang ganun ang dating niya itong part na to, which is na-emphasize ni Kat na parang may ribbon cutting na. Tapos tinawag niya lahat ng tribal leaders. And if you're going to imagine ano yung setting, lahat nandoon and they're going to witness this whole thing.
Mhm.
And sa latter part of chapter 8, Solomon even prayed and dedicated this temple to God. And as if parang kinakausap niya si God, pero really, the audience, it's really for the Israelites. And ang sinasabi niya is parang rededication na naman of themselves back to God. Kasi they need to do this. And for us, we need to do it as well. Na, yes, we have been baptized. Tapos we've been serving for how many years? We have to always, continually renew our faith, yung mga ganun, refresh our mind, go back to the basics. Remind ourselves why we follow Jesus. Kasi we need that. As time goes by, routine can take over and we can forget, bakit ko na nga ba ginagawa to? Why am I a Christian again? Diba? Why am I trying to be such a good person? Makakalimutan natin yun. And if we remind ourselves of Jesus, and then, oo nga pala, I remember now. And this is kind of like what Solomon is trying to do now that the Lord is about to dwell in them again through this temple. So he's reminding the people as well. Kaya tinawag niya lahat eh. Talagang town hall meeting na everyone come here. Something grand is about to happen. So I was listening to that. Napareflect ako na, do we do that? Parang gano'n na tayo naman as a congregation, how often do we do that? Yung parang rededicating ourselves to God. Or do we just do it personally? Mga ganong reflective questions. Kasi it's such a nice practice to do it randomly throughout the year na let's do this, let's refresh our souls, our spirits, mga ganun. So yun lang yung reflection ko dito, Kuya Aki.
Ganda nun yung rededicate, yun yung mga nakuha kong term, rededicate. Minsan, ang pagkaka-intindi ko kasi minsan nadidiskaril itong mga Israelites pagdating sa service and pagbabalik sa Diyos and then this will be a very very good time para i-align ulit sila. Meron lang ako mga details kasi binasa ko din yung ilang parang commentaries dito. May mga details na, for example, yung mismong temple na finish on the 8th month. Tapos kung mapapansin natin dito sa binasa kanina ni O'Neill, binuksan binuksan itong sa verse 2, all the Israelites came together to King Solomon at the time of the festival in the month of Ethanim, which is the 7th month. So, in reference to 1 Kings 6:38, ang sabi kasi doon is the 8th month, the temple was finished in all its details. Tapos ito on the 7th month. So, you can just imagine, mula sa pagka-finish ng temple hanggang doon sa grand opening, it took them at least a year, no? At least a year to open it. Hindi ko lang alam yung reason why. Maybe there is a reason why. Hindi ko pa lang napag-aralan itself. Bakit it took them 1 year to do that. Ayun, thank you for your insights, both of you. Before we continue with the next part, ituloy ulit natin yung ating mga comments. Let's go back to... Hold on. Nawala ako. Dito yung last kay Ate Mayan. Yun, nag-awesome na si Ate Mayan kanina to formally begin yung ating talks. Arnel, thank you for tagging your friends. And then si Ken, kapatid mo to, Kat? Tama ba?
Opo, ate ko po siya.
Sorry, ate mo, hindi ko pa hindi kami pa acquainted. So, happy birthday, awesome evening din po, Ate Ken. Awesome din, sabi ni sister ko. Si Sister Lore, of course, with Jessie, awesome. Happy birthday! Siguro pertaining to both of our sisters ito. Jessie, and thank you Ernel for tagging. Happy birthday po. Happy birthday, and awesome sabi ni Kuya Kuloy. And Ernel keeps on tagging yung friends niya. And then, thank you Ernel. Balik tayo dito sa Tingnan ko lang yung time ha. Tinitingnan ko kung tatapusin na ba natin yung second part. But before we go to the second part, anything else na nakikita nyo na we might have missed mula 1 to 11? Merong siguro mga details dito na from verse 6, I think, dinidescribe lang yung exact thing ng description ng Ark of the Covenant. But anything else that you think we miss or any other inputs before we go to the second part?
Kat? Mukhang si Kat may lalim na
Oo,
binabasa
lalim na binabasa. Parang,
Hindi, kasi napaisip lang ako. Di ba kanina nabanggit natin sa Ark of the Covenant, ang laman nun is yung two stone tablets, tsaka yung
tablets.
mana, tsaka yung staff. Pero ang sabi dito, yung 2 stone tablets pa lang. Kailan, alam niyo po ba kung kailan ilagay yung staff at saka?
Oh.
Good question. Ang alam ko before this one eh. Doon pa sa panahon ng mga Levites noon na doon nila.
Opo.
But, kasi long after ng death na to ni Moses eh. So, but we can have a review with that one. Actually, I'm not sure. Naalala mo ba, O'Neil?
Hindi. Pero alam ko, before pa, ang parang insight ko dito bakit ang naka-record lang ngayon ay yung stone tablets. Through time, naging chaotic din yung history nila eh. So, nagulo-gulo na rin yung ark. Remember, it almost fell, mga ganun. So, hindi na rin siguro naalagaan. But they're still trying to keep up with the statutes or commands in Moses' time. Yun lang, ang naiwan na lang dun yung stone tablets.
Oo nga, no? Hindi, kasi actually, yung mana has been described doon sa Exodus 16. Somewhere there, doon describe na merong golden pot na ang laman nun mana, kasama yun doon sa Ark of the Covenant. Tapos nung pumunta naman sa Numbers, yun yung Aaron's staff, yung Aaron's rod, doon nila nilagay Aaron's rod. At saka, hindi ko nga rin alam mo, baka nabuksan na rin, speculation ko lang yan, kailangan natin pag-aralan to deeper, baka nabuksan na wala yung dalawa, kasi nga, bakit stone tablets na lang ang describe dito at wala na yung ibang laman. Interesting, pero sige, pag-aralan natin yan the next time siguro. But, okay, ready to go na sa second part?
Yes, I am.
Yes, all right. So, sige, para fair kay Kat, hati kayo ni Kat naman. Then, Kat will be reading from 12 down to 21. And then, we'll have yung insights ni O'Neil. Over to you, Kat.
Okay. Ibang version din naman po tayo. NIV sa Bible ko
NIV.
po.
Ano ba itong naka-display? Anong version nito?
CSB po ata.
CSB. Right.
Tama po. Okay. Verse 12. Then Solomon said, "The Lord has said that he would dwell in a dark cloud. I have indeed built a magnificent temple for you, a place for you to dwell forever." While the whole assembly of Israel was standing there, the king turned around and blessed them. Then he said, "Praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, who with his own hand has fulfilled what he promised with his own mouth to my father David. For he said, since the day I brought my people Israel out of Egypt, I have not chosen a city in any tribe of Israel to have a temple built for my name to be there, but I have chosen David to rule my people Israel. My father David had it in his heart to build a temple for the name of the Lord, the God of Israel. But the Lord said to my father David, because it was in your heart to build a temple for my name, you did well to have this in your heart. Nevertheless, you are not the one to build the temple, but your son, who is your own flesh and blood. He is the one who will build the temple for my name. The Lord has kept the promise he made. I have succeeded David my father, and now I sit on the throne of Israel just as the Lord promised. And I have built the temple for the name of the Lord, the God of Israel. Verse 21, I have provided a place there for the ark, in which is the covenant of the Lord, that he made with our fathers when he brought them out of Egypt.
Ang ganda, no? Parang nakaka-goosebump habang sinasabi yung mga statements na yan eh. Ano yan? Yung base sa nabasa ni Kat, and I think yun nga, nabasa mo rin in advance to O'Neil, what do you think would be the significance of this second part ng ating chapter 8 na ating text ngayon?
It's kuya Solomon's acknowledgement of parang he's praising God and acknowledging his greatness, because he also acknowledged, we can see Solomon's humility here as well. How he uplifts the Lord first of all, and then his father David. Hindi niya nakakalimutan yung desire ng father niya na gusto niyang gumawa ng temple for the Lord's Ark. Yun, naalala ko to na sabi, sino yung high priest niya nun? Ethan ba? Basta nagrereklamo siya na, ako nasa temple ako, made of cedar. Tapos yung ark nasa tent lang, sabi niya ganyan. Kaya gusto niyang gumawa. Pero hindi siya pinayagan ni God. So we can see that in his heart, he really wants to build the Lord a temple. Though Solomon acknowledged na the desire of David of wanting to build the temple for the Lord was acknowledged by the Lord. So nothing really goes, walang nakakatakas sa paningin niya, sa pandinig ni God. So everything, even what's in our hearts, in our minds, na nakikita ni God yan eh. So he truly knows if we are pure in what we do, or kung ano lang to, it's all for a show, parang ganun. So hindi natin pwedeng i-fake si God kasi nakikita niya yung genuine genuine heart and all. Yun. So that's one. And balik tayo dun sa acknowledgement ni Solomon, no, kay God, that everything that he has achieved, nabasa natin for 2 chapters, di ba, napapawaw tayo na it's made of gold, laced with gold, hammered with gold, tapos specifics, he hired the experts to create the temple, and then he gives back the glory, he gives the glory back to God na all of this happened because of the Lord. The God has been faithful to my father David. Everything that he told my father David, he fulfilled. Kasi nga sabi rin, may covenant nga si God tsaka si David, di ba, na David will be known, and his linya niya magiging kilala din eh. They will be great. And eto na yun. Tapos na-acknowledge na rin niya dito na his riches, his wisdom, his honor, his power at that time, it's because of God. And I think it's another emphasis on yung first point ko kanina, that when we rededicate ourselves, we are reminded again of our true purpose, our true meaning, and why are we here. Parang yung the total existence of who we are, the things that we have achieved, may ko-connect natin ulit kay God. So it's such a good practice sana if we can do that, no, as a group even, because parang wala akong maalala eh. Na let's just refresh our souls, reconnect with God. Parang recollection eh, parang ganun ang dating. Di ba? Ayun, so nagiging grounded ulit sila dito. And Solomon, in his time being king, he's leading his people in such a good way, no, reminding them that he's great, yes, kasi nabasa rin natin sa previous chapters na other nations are sending emissaries to Solomon because they want to hear what he's about to say about anything, because he's so wise. Pero again, his wisdom, his greatness, his honor, he points them back to God, which is wow, diba? And this is in his time the wisest and richest man. So who are we to be proud of ourselves? Parang ganun naisip mo. Sino ba naman ako para maging mayabang? Si Solomon nga, napaka-humble nung panahon niya, mga ganyan. Even David. So yun yung isa pang reflection ko dito, Kuya Aki.
Ang ganda nun, ha? Ang napakaganda nun. Ang nagustuhan ko dun is yung perhaps yung comparison, wala tayo sa katiting ng na-achieve ni Solomon actually. And you're right to say na who are we na malaki, di ba? First and foremost sa kapwa natin, and then secondly sa Diyos, wala tayong karapatan magmalaki. And yet this king over here na meron na, nasa kanya na lahat, and yet ang glory has been given to God with description na binigay niya dito sa second part. Thank you for your insight, O'Neil. Napaka powerful ng insight na yon. Meron lang akong gusto itanong sa inyo dito. Napansin niyo ba yung sinabi na napansin ko lang to, the Lord said He would dwell in the dark clouds. Yung cloud, no? Again, na-emphasize dito yung cloud. Can we go up there? Sa 10 nga ba to?
Verse 12.
Or 12 ba? 12 ba yun? Or 10?
Opo, 10.
Tama
10
ba?
to 12.
Sa 10 nga ba yun? Sa kanina. Yun. Nung ko lang nakita nung binasa ko ulit, the cloud filled the Lord's temple. Naalala ko lang bigla yung mga pagpaparamdam ng Diyos dun sa Book of Exodus and Numbers na laging represented by cloud. Yung sa Exodus 13 and 16, yung cloud lagi. And then, meron ding parang may significance talaga yung cloud eh. Kasi sa Ezekiel din, sa vision niya, may cloud din doon. Sa Leviticus, meron ding cloud from which God appeared to the high priest. And then sa Luke, naalala niyo yung transfiguration ni Jesus doon? May cloud din na present. And then a cloud of glory din sa Acts, yung ascension ni Jesus. Na-curious lang ako doon sa part na yun sa clouds. Parang in every appearance or at least representing God, merong laging sinasabing cloud. Na-observe ko lang. So, Kat, how about you? What's your take on that specific from verse 12 down to 21?
Gusto ko rin po yung take away ni Kuya O'Neil kasi napa-reflect lang din ako yung sa tungkol po dun sa rededicate, yung ganun. Kasi kanina sinearch ko, bakit nga ba kasi nagawa yung Ark of the Covenant? Hindi ko na kasi, so kailangan ko ulit, so sinearch ko siya. Tapos, nung sinearch ko siya, tapos binasa natin tong passage na to, makes sense kasi, di ba yung nasa Ark of the Covenant is yung stone tablets. So, ano yung mga nasa stone tablets na yun? Yun yung Ten Commandments. So, ewan ko, ito lang yung naintindihan ko sa binabasa natin ngayon. Kailangan ulit, tama yung sinabi ni Kuya O'Neil na kailangan ulit na maalala ng Israelites kung sino yung God nila, kung sino yung nagbigay ng commandments, ganyan. So, ang dami na napagdaanan ng Israelites, ang dami ng generation na lumipas. Dun sa generation ba na yun, naipasa yung commandments ni Lord. So, kailangan talaga, importante talaga yung Ark of the Covenant para maalala nila yung commandments ng Panginoon, yung covenant nila with the Lord. Yun. Sa atin naman ngayon, kailangan natin yung point kayo ni O'Neil na ang tagal-tagal ng Kristiyano, ganyan. Kailangan natin maalala yung kung sino si Lord sa buhay natin, kung bakit natin siya tinanggap, yung relationship natin sa Kanya, yung salvation na tinanggap natin sa buhay natin. Yung ganon, kaya nung sinasabi ko like, oo nga no, hindi yung nagmamagaling ka na Kristiyano ka na, alam mo na yung ganito, yung ganyan. Kailangan pa rin nating ma-remind sa sarili natin yung covenant ni Lord sa atin, ganun. Yun. Mm-hmm. So, yun yung first ko. And then, yung second naman po is, na-remind ako dito yung sa isang characteristic ni Lord na pag may promise siya, gagawin niya.
Yeah. I was about
yun
to
lang
ask
yung,
that.
Yun lang po yung, siya lang po yung, si Lord lang po yung nakakagawa nun, yung nagpo-promise na hindi, nagpo-promise na nagagawa. Kasi syempre tayong mga tao, nangangako pero napapako. Wow! Yun yung isang pinanghahawakan ko kay Lord na pag meron siyang promise, even before sa Bible, meron siyang promise, nagagawa. And alam kong gagawin niya rin yan sa buhay natin ngayon, sa modern day na to. Yun po.
Ang ganda nun, Kat. Actually, yung verse 20 na yun yung nagpa-goosebump sa akin kanina eh. Yung conclusion na the Lord has kept the promise He made. Ang naalala ko dito, si Nalala niyo si Abraham, di ba? Yung pinamis siya maging father of many nations, but a lot of hurdles have been set yung sa front nila. Sarah's barren at madaming mga hurdles, and then but yet the promise has been fulfilled nung lumabas si Isaac. And then ito naman maybe ang isang magandang sinabi doon ni Kat, if-fulfill yung promise, but maybe not in our generation, hindi yung sa time natin. Is that correct, Kat? Baka kasi meron tayong mga, alam mo yun, may mga gusto tayong mangyari na pinipilit nating makuha na yung promise ng Diyos sa atin, which is not yet in His perfect timing, and might hurt us, might hurt us, and pagka pinilit natin na hindi pa siya hinog, kumbaga. And this is what happened doon kay David. So gusto ni David gawin, but God said nope, maybe not in during your time, but yung sa anak mo, doon natin siya gagawin. And yeah, the Lord has kept the promise He made. Napakagandang point na hinighlight mo doon, Kat. Ay, ang sarap noon, no? Na mabasa to, the Lord has kept the promise. After all na pinagdaanan ni David dun sa story natin mula sa Samuel and then dito sa Kings, it has been fulfilled. Maybe not in David's time, but the proper time na plinano ng Diyos para sa kanilang lahat. Whew. Thank you, Kat. How about you, O'Neil? Balik natin sa iyo for maybe meron ka pang nakitang reading between the lines on those verses.
Gagatong ako dun sa sharing ni Ate
Sige
Kat.
lang, para lumakas ang apoy. Gatong.
Oo, it's so true, no? Yung promise, he is true to His word din. God will always fulfill it. And yung mga promise niya, hindi rin siya mystery eh. Yung mga sa akin yung mga pinahawakan ko kasi, yung mga sinabi na rin niya, di ba? And then, it teaches us to be faithful. It's an opportunity for us to practice our faith to Him, to trust in His word. Kasi ito yung mga promise niya. We really don't know kailan mangyayari ito eh. For example, He promised that Jesus is coming again. Diba? He's gonna take us home. That's another promise.
Yep.
Pero every day, diba, we're wondering, is it today? Is it today? Today? Tanong tayo ng tanong eh. Kasi we long for that day as Christians. Hindi naman sa dahil gusto ko lang walis dito. It's just, it's the end. It's the finish line of the race. Mga ganun. So we wonder, is it tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? Mga ganun. So we don't know. But I think it's an avenue for us to show how much we trust God in His promises, in everything that He says. He also said that He can be our refuge. He is our rest, mga ganun. So everything that He claims, parang promise na rin yun eh, na how I see it. So when we are persecuted, when we are tired, when we feel like we have so much burden, serving Him, He just says that, dali mo sa akin, sabi niya, diba?
Yeah.
Matutulungan kita. That's also a promise, though it's not explicitly said or written na, I promise this, pero sinabi niya eh, so we go to Him. So those things, if we go to Him in prayer when we feel burdensome, it shows faith, mga ganun. So let us also remind ourselves, so ano yung mga sinasabi ni God na who He is, His nature. And if we hold on to those, di ba, talagang pinaniniwalaan natin sa puso natin, then that's faith. That's faith, and one way of strengthening our faith. Yun lang. Of course, kailangan natin kilalanin si God. Kasi hindi ka naman pwedeng maniwala lang na hindi mo naman siya kilala, di ba?
Right.
So we have to get to know our God. So, ayun. Yun lang.
Thank you for that, O'Neil. Ang lakas nun, ha? Kasi naalala ko din yung mga promises na we take for granted madalas. Say, for example, I can still clearly remember in Matthew 6:33, diba? You seek ye first, hindi kita pababayaan. If you are to prioritize me, everything will be added unto you, yung mga things like that. And gaya na yung sinabi mo din, no? Yung take my yoke upon you, for my yoke is easy. And those promises, hindi naman sinabi sa atin na aalisin lahat sa atin. But then again, it will be a lot lighter if we put him into the driver's seat. Siya bahala, and then we just follow whatever has been asked for us to do. Ang gandang insight nun. We still have some time, but meron lang ako ditong just being an advocate dun sa questions. Kasi if we are to put ourselves into the shoes ng mga Israelites, they have something to remind them. Merong physical structure, di ba? Yung temple and the Ark of the Covenant. But if I were to ask the two of you, how would you relate this to the current situation of us being Christians right now? We don't have anything, like gaya ng sinabi natin at the very beginning, we don't have any structures to remind us. And so, would it be a lot more challenging for us to rededicate ourselves and, na walang any physical things, we just have to realign our thinking. Kayong dalawa, what do you think? What do you think, mga tagapakinig natin? Actually, may insight pala rito before you answer, the two of you. Basahin muna natin ang insight ni Arnel. Sabi niya, ang covenant ng Lord sa mga Israelite ay katibayan ng kabutihan ng Diyos. Amen to that. Dahil kung tutusin, pwedeng parusahan ng tao. Subalit dahil sa paraan niya upang maligtas ang tao, ay nakipagtipan siya at siyang dapat nilang sundin kasama ang pagsamba. Precisely, Arnel. Thank you for that. And solid amen, sabi ni Kuya Jesse. God is a promise keeper forever. Trust in Him. Guy, thank you Kuya Jess for that. So, meron ba kayong insight doon? Hirap, no? Kasi kung ako, walang anything, it will be more of a self-discipline na eh. When we realign our thinking with Him right now. So for example, medyo napariwara ako, I backslid for quite some time, and walang structure, walang physical anything na mag-remind sa akin to realign my mind, to look up. What do you think, the two of you? Hirap, no? It's a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. Challenging po talaga siya. Kasi yung kanina nga po nabanggit ko, 'di ba, na yung ano ba yung nabanggit ko kanina? Connected po kasi siya sa devotion namin kanina. So, sa atin, kailangan natin magpursige. 'Di ba sabi nga sa Bible na exercise your faith, like that, yung ganun. So, yung devotion namin kanina is heart check lagi. Heart check in a sense na tao tayo, nagkakamali tayo, nagkakaroon tayo ng kasalanan, natutukso tayo, mga ganung bagay. So, we should be aware sa mga ganung bagay. Heart check na, nagkamali tayo at kailangan natin i-correct agad yung ganun. At saka, we should be surrounding ourselves ng mga godly people, ganyan.
Para ganda nun.
Para hindi po tayo
hinihila,
Kasi di ba yung mga bad influence, syempre kung bad influence, mapupunta ka sa bad influence. Kung godly influence, mapupunta ka sa godly influence. Ganon. So, yun. Yun po.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you. I admire and appreciate that one. How about you, O'Neil? How are we going to fight that specific temptation na ma-derail? Ganda nung sabi ni Kat, yung mga kasama natin pagka doon tayo sa company ng corrupted spirits, maybe we will be corrupted as well. So, what do you think? What could be a practical advice from you na pwede nating i-take away?
Sa akin kasi it's the same, nagbago lang talaga what the temple is eh. We are the church now, di ba? So for us to be reminded ganun, or hindi tayo mapalayo ganun. Tayo na rin, di ba? You go back to God's people. I agree dun sa second point ni Kat na tayo na rin. It's not just my responsibility to myself. It's also a responsibility. I also have a responsibility to my brothers and sisters that if they are napapalayo sila, I'm partly to blame to that. Kasi parang hindi ko nabantayan eh, 'di ba? So, yes, it was their choice, but may kulang din ako na parang, hindi ko siya nabantayan, nasa isip na pala niyang umalis. Mga ganon. So, that to me is the structure. Yun. So, we continue to check on each other.
Right.
Ang pinaka-importante is having that circle of, confidentiality. Hindi. yung inner circle mo wherein you can share everything that you can feel, mga ganon. So, having that circle of friends, people can watch over you, people can know what you are really going through. Hindi mo naman kailangan i-broadcast sa buong congregation na, everyone, I'm going through this. You just have to have those couple of people who will watch over you. And that to me is very important para hindi tayo mapalayo. And they will help us as well in our rededicating thing, no? Hindi pa kasi nagagawa, or I think nagawa na, iba lang tawag, pero sila rin mag-refresh sa atin na stay in the Lord, stay awesome, mga ganun, stay with Jesus, continue to be a Christian, ganun. So yun sa akin, Kuya Aki.
Ang ganda noon, no? Ang nakuha ko doon sa sinabi mo, O'Neil, is that kung tayo na yung temple, we as the church, maybe we can be part ng bricks, no? And tayo din mismo yung nag-entangle sa each other, not for them not to lose yung kanilang cohesiveness with the members. And focusing on Jesus, ang hirap lalo ngayon with this time and a lot of distraction and a lot of temptation with different shapes and sizes. Mahirap. And yung sinabi kanina ni O'Neil na we are each other's brother's keeper would be a very good assurance that I am responsible for myself and also responsible for the brothers that are around me. And gandang insight noon, O'Neil. Thank you so much. We are almost on our end time. A few minutes more. But before we go to the takeaway, at least last words, key takeaways na i-ask ko sa inyo, basahin muna natin ang mga insights ng ating viewers. So nandito pala si Josh. Hey, miss you, Josh. How are you doing? God has blessed His nation, the King He anointed, King Solomon. God is the ultimate provider and deliverer though He uses people such as King Solomon to bless the people and the kingdom of Israel. So as long as we abide in Him, He will bless us. Indeed, this is the golden age of Israel. Thank you so much for this, Josh. Tama. God has blessed this nation. He will deliver us as long as we will be with Him. Meron din sinabi si Arnel, di na po ako lalayo sa family lang, lalo ko ibang faith, parang hatakan na ikaw na mahatak or ikaw ma-influence sa kanila. Mas maganda yata, Arnel, na ikaw manghatak if you are the stronger party para hindi rin mawala yung members. Thank you for that, Arnel. Included to your inner circle of friends and people around you, always pointing and seeing lifestyle. Yes. Very, very well said. Anything else from your side? From our brothers and sisters na nakikinig? Sige, you can just type in. Before that, I think, let's go ahead with Kat first. What will be the key takeaways na ating iiwan sa ating mga listeners, sa akin, kay O'Neil, from your side?
Okay. Ang ganda pa ng discussion ngayon, no? Ang dami kong nakain ngayon. So, for my
dessert na to, ha? Kanina yung main course, dessert na to.
Meron pang kape. Mamaya.
Meron pang kape. Okay, sige.
Pero, yung take away ko is, na-remind ako sa first love ko. Di ba sabi nga sa Bible, we need to go back to our first love. And regarding dun sa rededicating, ganun yung naisip kong way din na pag kunwaring nalilihis tayo ng daan, let's go back to our first love. Kung paano yung feeling, kung paano mo tinanggap si Lord sa buhay mo. Kasi diba, ngayon na na-realize ko siya, parang, Lord, hindi ko deserve yung love mo. But dahil love mo kami, dahil love mo ako, na sinner, rinidim mo ako, sinave mo ako, yung ganun. And then, pag naisip mo na yung thought na yun, yung paa mo, dun na ulit siya sa right path. Ganun. Na may isip mo ulit na, I should be serving the Lord, I should be serving others. Yung mga ganun. So, yun. Yun yung personally na take away ko sa discussion natin ngayon. Ang ganda.
First love. Oh, first love. Don't forget your first love.
Yes.
Nice. All right. Let's go with O'Neil. Ganda no, first love. 2 words pero very, very strong.
I agree. Awesome. Thank you for that, Kat. Na-refresh din ako doon. Sa letter yun ni Paul ba? Sa one of the churches. Basta, let's always remember our first love. And parang papunta din kasi doon yung takeaway ko. Para maiba lang, no? Kasi, na-share ko yun, parang ano yun takeaway na nung buong chapter 8. Pero if we're going to focus on dito sa title, no, Solomon's dedication of the temple, it was a great feat, diba? For Solomon to be able to achieve this. Solid yung temple. Pero kahit ganun kataas yung na-achieve niya, and everything that he has, he gives them back to God. So, ang pinaka-takeaway ko dun sa part na yun is, everything that we have achieved, diba, in our lifetime, it's only been just, enabled and allowed by God. Ganun that's how I see it. To keep myself humbled as well. Kasi, I keep telling this to people and myself na the things that I'm able to do is because God gave me the ability to do them. There's nothing na talagang from scratch ako sa akin nanggaling. Kasi, the fact that I could speak, that I have 10 fingers, that I have a life to do all these things, it's because of Him. It's because of Him. So for Solomon dedicated this temple to God, how great it looked, everything that's in it, how, what it's made of. Sa atin din ganun, everything that we have achieved, to keep us humbled, let's dedicate everything that we do, even ourselves, we are the temple, we are the church, dedicate ourselves back to God, so that we don't get, hindi lumaki yung ulo natin, galing ko naman, galing ko magsalta, galing kong magsumayaw, ganun. So, we dedicate everything back to God. It will really help us have a firm, grounded tayo in humility. And hindi rin nagkulang sa reminder yan. Is it in Matthew? I don't remember. Hindi ko na maalala. Basta, sabi nga, di ba, in everything that we do it for the Lord, not for men. Yes, we have our employers, we have our parents, ganyan. Pero ultimately, it's God. He is our ultimate audience in everything that we do, think, and say. So, we dedicate all this back to Him. It's all, the glory and praise belongs to Him. So, yeah.
Thank you. That's very, very profound. Thank you for that, O'Neil. With that being said, susundan ko din yun. Gagatungan ko din yung key takeaway mo. And with it on the same direction, under the same token, ang pwede kong gawin dito is analogy. Yung kanina pa natin pinag-uusapan na now we are the temple. And so, in comparison with the temple na tinayo ni Solomon, look at this. This is magnificent. Everything the best materials, the best contractors, everything the best. And so, if we are to reflect and we are presenting ourselves as the temple, hindi kaya nakakahiya na ipepresent natin yung ating mga sarili na tira-tira lang para sa Diyos, If it is on a Sunday, pagka tayo ay puyat and energy level natin is low, hindi ba nakakahiya na i-present din yung sarili na ganon? Should it be na best din natin ang ating best everything ang naka put forward? Best foot, best mind, the fresh mind, best body. And I think we should start taking care of ourselves, both physically and spiritually. And then we should be giving ourselves hindi yung junk food when we eat physically, hindi rin junk food when we eat spiritually. Yung mga literatures na binabasa natin, will it help us grow spiritually, and will it help preserve our spirit in its best shape. And so, having said that, ang key takeaway ko dito would be, now that we are the living sacrifices, it is indeed a great time for us to have a reflection on how are we going to present ourselves every time na we give it as a living sacrifice. It needs to be the best. Ano nga yung sacrifices nun, di ba? Spotless, walang sakit, the healthiest calf or the healthiest goat, not goat, the healthiest sheep. And we should, that would be my reflection for this chapter. Kuya Unil and Ate Kat.
Kuya Aki,
Alright.
can I add to that po?
Sure.
Na
Go ahead.
mabilisan? Ayun. As di ba yung temple kanina nabanggit is parang almost 1 year na ginagawa. So,
Hindi, almost 1 year na bago na buksan.
natapos.
So, ilang years ba siya bago natapos? Parang 7 or 13? Matagal eh.
7.
Yeah, pero umabot ng 1 year bago yung actual opening from the time na natapos.
So, basta yun, nagawa siya. So, tayo rin, di ba parang lagi natin nababanggit na we are a work in progress.
Of course.
Pero lahat nung natututunan natin over time, we should, yung natututunan natin, yung growth natin, we should dedicate it to the Lord. Katulad nga nung sabi ni Kuya O'Neil na hindi natin strength to in-enable lang tayo ni Lord para gawin yung mga bagay-bagay, yung mga ganun. So, kaya hindi yun reason na kahit we are in a work in progress, hindi natin gagawin yung mga pinapagwasitan ng Panginoon. Pero gagawin natin yung best natin para sa Kanya. Yun lang naman.
Thank you for that reminder, Kat. Very, very well said. Okay, and so let's close with this remaining takeaways from Josh. What a great reminder, Kuyaki, about the temple and giving our best. Solid. Thank you then, Josh. Arnel. Takeaways: remind ourselves to all the promises of God to you and try to have more patience to wait. Give thanks to Him and worship Him, honoring Him, and taking care of the temple of God while in our body. And Ate Mayan, as a closing, says, yes, when we accomplish great things, we must give all glory and credit to God. Indeed. Precisely said, Ate Mayan. Thank you for that reminder as well. And so, yeah, we went 2 minutes overtime, but okay lang naman. Okay lang naman yan. With this being said, thank you for joining me, Kuya O'Neil and Ate Kat. Thank you as well sa mga listeners natin for joining us tonight. And hindi ko alam ang closing, Kuya O'Neil, so ikaw na. Ipasa ko na sa'yo.
Sige, no problem. Ayun, and that is our discussion for verses 1 to 21 of chapter 8. This is a very long chapter, so bukas ulit, 9 p.m. onwards. Let's continue to read chapter 8, First Kings. 9 p.m. onwards, same place, and Awesome Believers Cross Facebook page and YouTube channel. And thank you as always, mga ka-awesome, for always reflecting with us, growing with us, maturing with us as God's people. Stay safe, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay with Jesus. That's how we stay awesome. Let's continue to shine the light of Jesus wherever we may be and continue to love so that the love of Jesus will be seen in us. God bless, mga ka-awesome, and of course, don't forget to pray.
Don't forget to pray. Thank you, Kuya O'Neil. Thank you, Ate Kat. Good night, everyone. God bless you all.
God bless.
Bye.